Hey everyone, this week I've been driving this 2022 Infiniti QX80. I actually reviewed one of these just last year. It was a 2021 model, and there's really only one significant change with the QX80 for 2022, and that is that it receives a new center stack. That's the area where like the HVAC controls and the infotainment system lives. So for this video, I thought we'd just take a look at that new center stack, and then I'll share some of my thoughts on the value proposition of the QX80 relative to the Nissan Armada. So nothing really changes with the exterior of the QX80 for 2022. This is a full-size SUV, has room for up to 7 in a 2-2-3 configuration. So 2 up front, 2 in the middle, and then 3 in the third row. And here we are. If you've been in a Nissan Armada from the 2021 model year or newer, this is going to look pretty familiar because, well, this is identical now to the Armada's dashboard. Here's the window sticker before we get into things any further. So this is a 2022 Infiniti QX80 sensory four-wheel drive. So this one's completely loaded, uses a 5.6 liter V8, making 400 horsepower and 413 pounds-feet of torque. Nothing there has changed. 7-speed automatic transmission. The Nissan Titan and Frontier, those being Nissan's other body-on-frame vehicles, those received a new 9-speed automatic transmission recently, but the Armada and the QX80 have stuck with this relatively antiquated 7-speed. Fuel economy from that 5.6 liter V8 is 13 city, 19 highway, 15 combined. Not real competitive there. And then MSRP on this one is just a hair under $88,000. That's a lot of money for this. Anyway, let's turn this on and check out the new center stack. So the center console here will look pretty familiar, although it's been reshuffled a little bit. So all these bits have been around for a while. They're just in new places. Up here, we've got the four-wheel drive controls. So you've got full-time four-wheel drive in the QX80. You can shift into 4 high on the fly. And then if you're neutral, you push down and then shift over to 4 low. Beyond that, you've just got a tow mode, a snow mode, and then a button for turning on and off the stability control. Here are your cup holders. We've all seen cup holders before. Same goes for a gear selector. This is for the 7-speed automatic. And then this is a set of redundant controls for this new touchscreen infotainment system. This control panel here has been around for a while. It's also included in the Armada, and it's also offered in some other Infiniti models. I tend to use the touchscreen as often as possible, but for some things like pulling up the camera system, it's nice to have these physical buttons right here. As for the camera system, Nissan and Infiniti introduced top-down cameras a while back. They were one of the first companies to bring something like this to market. And back in 2010, it was pretty impressive. These days, though, camera resolution is pretty poor. Doesn't seem like they've updated their cameras in over a decade now, so colors are okay. But in an $88,000 luxury vehicle, this does not give off the impression of quality or modernity. 360-degree top-down view is really nice, especially in a big SUV like this, but I just can't get over the poor camera quality. Anyway, though, the infotainment system itself isn't too bad. Again, this is Nissan's infotainment system that has been in use now for several years. It's certainly not the best on the market. It's probably not the worst, but the UI isn't too pretty, to be honest, but it's easy enough to find your way around. So here we'll pull up the map. The map resolution is really good, and the map is easy to read. I like the UI on the map there. We can go back to our home screen, and then you've got a number of different pages here, none that are too relevant. This is all information that's pulled from Sirius satellite radio. We've got a clock. Again, we've got a clock right there, though, so that's not too relevant. And that brings us back to our home page. Beyond that, center stack design's pretty nice. This is exactly what you get in the Armada, which I'll get to in a minute. But volume knob, tuning knob, we like to see physical volume knobs still. HVAC vents, so there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. HVAC controls, you get heated seats and ventilated seats. No, you can't turn them on at the same time like you can in some German cars, but that's okay. The dials for the dual zone climate control are pretty nice. They're just a plastic, no rubber on them or anything like that, but quality feels really good, and they sound nice too. And then the button layout is fine. It's relatively intuitive. Here we've got a door that hides a wireless charging pad and then a 12-volt outlet. When you keep that closed, it keeps the whole center stack looking a little bit cleaner there. And then beneath that, all we've really got going here is a USB-C port. Great to see. And then a USB-A port. One more thing. I'm not sure I've demonstrated this before, but this center console box is kind of funny. So it opens in the traditional manner, and you can see it's really just a regular old center console box. You've got a little tray here, and then an on-off switch for an AC inverter. But your second row passengers can also open the lid to access it from the second row. And then when you've got that open, if you open this, I can reach around and kind of put my hand through it. See what's going on there? Makes like a Z shape. So that's your look at the updated center stack here in the 2022 Infiniti QX80. Again, it's really the only thing that has changed with this vehicle for 2022. And I said at the beginning of the video that I would speak a little bit to the value proposition of the QX80 relative to the Nissan Armada. And the main reason I want to do that is that the Armada received this exact same center stack, but for last year, for 2021. You would think that a car company would introduce its newest, latest, best technology on its luxury model first, and then let that trickle down to more mainstream options. But Nissan didn't do that. They gave it to the lower priced vehicle first, and then put it in this higher priced QX80 a year later. Really kind of weird in my eyes. That makes the Armada, even a new Armada, a much better value than the QX80. And it really, to me, makes a gently used Armada a much, much better value than a new QX80. For a 2021 Armada, pretty nicely equipped, you're looking at $50,000, $55,000 on the used market. So that's an opportunity to save over $30,000 if we're going off of sticker price here. What's also interesting is that the QX80's previous infotainment design was just around for the 2020 and 2021 model years. Go back all the way to 2019 and before, it had a really antiquated stack and infotainment layout. But then for 2020 and 2021, just those two model years, it got a new design that featured Infiniti's two-tiered display system. But that was only around for 2 years, and then it got this new center stack here, which is pretty good. It just makes for an interesting value proposition now between the QX80 and the Armada, because the two vehicles really are identical, especially now that they share their interiors pretty much in their entirety. So anyway, that's my long rambling on the 2022 QX80's new infotainment system and center stack. Overall, QX80 is a competent vehicle. If you're interested in learning more of my thoughts on it, you can go check out the video that I did on this car last year. Overall, powertrain's fine. It's not bad. It's just becoming less and less competitive as the years go on. All of the competition has either introduced new vehicles in this segment or fully redesigned their existing vehicles in this segment since the QX80 here was last redesigned. So if you're going to buy one of these, relative cost should be the main motivator. I know we're not seeing it much these days, but I'd like to see financial incentives either from Infiniti or the Infiniti dealership where you're buying this. I'd like to see those incentives amount to, I don't know, at least $10,000 off of this thing before I think it's really a good buy relative to the other options on the market. But still not a bad vehicle. Just make sure you're test driving everything in this segment, especially before you go buying one of these. So I think that wraps up the updated QX80 here. Thank you for watching.